Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome back. Today we're gonna see how damage is calculated in the game. I don't think there is an official already pre-existing way or method that tells you how damage is actually calculated. So I think this is the first. Honestly, this is not even a factual thing. This is a conclusion that I've come to by just a lot of trial and error, and it seems quite legit, right? So, how to calculate damage? Why would you want to calculate damage, right? I feel like it could be super useful in wars where it could help you decide your next move. So, let's say, like, you have Primarion on your team, the opponents have an Adaled, and then you baby reverse the Adaled, of course, and then you go for the next threat. So now you're not sure whether your attacker could actually one tap the next threat. It could be maybe because of the rune difference or the level difference or whatever it is, and so you either have the option to turn transfer or deny. Turn transferring is obviously the better option if once turn transferred, that monster could take out the opponent's main threat. But now you're iffy, right? You don't know if it could actually take it out. And so you could do that by doing some side math and figure out if your damage could actually take out the opponent's monster. And if it can't, instead of turn transferring, you go for a hard deny or something like that, and it gets you closer to having your 3-coin victory. So what I'm going to do right now is let's put in Akira, let's have in Caliber over there, and we can throw in JJ for the last monster. So the runes really don't matter for this. So let's see, let's click on fight. Alright, so now if I click on Reclusion Ended, it does 318k damage, and over here it says 80%. 80% of what? Is it 80% of this guy's life? Can't be, because that would be around 140, 100, 600, 560. It would deal like 560k damage if it were to be 80% of this guy's life. Is it 80% of Akira's life? Definitely not, because that's a couple million damage. So what is it 80% of? This 80% is 80% of your monster's... God, that is so loud. It's your monster's strength stat, right? So it's actually 80% of 64,272. But 80% of that is most definitely not 318k. So how did the game reach this number? That is exactly what I figured out. That was what was supposed to be figured out. So let's hop into some calculations. So there are 3 factors that I use to determine a skill's damage output, the final damage output. The first factor is, of course, this number over here, 80%. The second factor is the strength stat of a monster, that is 64,000 in this case. And the third factor affecting a monster's damage output is their level. So level does indeed affect the monster's damage output. So now let's do some calculations. We have 64,272 strength. We're going to multiply it by this damage percentage number over here. So that is 0.8, since it's percentage, times 64272. So we have 0.8 times 64272. My bad. 0.8 times 64272. So 0.8 times 64272, we have the number 51,417.6. This is definitely not, and we knew it, that this would not give us, what is it? 318,000 damage. So how are we reaching that number? The third factor, the level, and I'm going to correlate everything in a bit. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to multiply this number that we have over here by a little factor. and that factor right now is 6.2, and we get 318,000. If you round it up, it's 318,000, which is exactly the number we're getting over here. And so how do I get the number 6.2? So as I said, the third factor affecting a monster's damage output is the level of a monster, right? Depending on the level of your monster, you have a multiplier, you could say, that you have to multiply to the product of the monster strength stat and the damage the skill is doing. So like, let's say a level 130, I think the multiplier is 5.4 for that. If you're level 140, actually let's check it out. So I'm going to recharge over here, That's why I took 3 different level monsters. This guy is level 130, Akira is 150, and Justin is 140. So my damage over here is 70. My strength stat is 179,445. Let's do that real quick. So 179, what was it again? 179,445. So 179,445 times, I think it was a 70 damage skill, so 70%, so that's 0.7. I'm gonna multiply it by 0.7, we get 125,000. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna multiply this by, since he's level 130, I'm gonna multiply this by 5.4. And if you click on equals, it's 678,000. Let's actually verify that real quick. 678,000. If we do the same for JJ, he's got an 80 damage skill with 43,000 strength. So 43125, I'm gonna multiply that by 80, so 0.8 actually. 34,500. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna multiply this by a factor of 5.8 since he's level 140. And we have the number 4.64. So I think it's like 464,000. Let's actually check the damage output. What did I do wrong over here? Let's do it again. 43125. So 43125 times 0.8 is 34,500. And then you multiply that by 5.8. And I get 200,100. How much is it doing right now? 200,000. So yeah, it's 5.8 over there. How do I get these numbers? Actually simple. So what I did was I took this value, 80, multiplied it by the strength stat. How do I even think about doing this? Just a lot of trial and error, and then this one just clicked. So 80 times 43,125, which is 34,500, and then I have this number, right? I know that the game is gonna do 200,000 damage, so I wanted to see what is the difference between that. So what I did was I took 200,000, the damage that the game is doing. Let's take 200,000, and then we will divide it by the damage according to our calculations, which is 34,500, and that will give us a number which is very close to 5.8, which is the factor for a level 140 monster. And doing the same for any level monster, you will get different numbers, which I'm actually going to share with you right now. So yeah, that's how you calculate damage. Where would this be useful? In top tier wars, where your battles are super close, and this just gives you a little extra edge where you know exactly what your monsters are going to do, and you can mathematically plan out your battles. And you know, I know it's a little nerdy, but hey, I would do it for an extra war coin, and I'm very sure a lot of others would do it as well. Like a couple others, at least like 2. Alright, so that's gonna be it for the video. To summarize everything that I just said, how to calculate damage. You've got 3 factors. You've got the damage number on the skill. You've got the monster's strength stat. And you've got the monster's level. You multiply 3 of them, actually multiply 2 of them, and then based on the monster's level, you multiply it by a factor, which I've shared with you guys already. And you get the monster's damage output on different skills. And then, you could use it in some war strategies and stuff. Actually, let me know if you can put this into good use in the comments below. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.